Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Marvel Movie Marathon Commentary series.
Yes, we're on number 3 now.
This is number 4, because I already did 2 with Berserker.
Get it. Number 4.
It is indeed, as George punned, this is the debut of the God of Thunder himself, Thor Odinson. This is quite of a bit divisive one between me and George, because George doesn't really like the 4 films, do you?
Well, this one I don't mind so much. I don't like the second one. The third one's amazing.
We can agree with that. At the time of this recording, we've both seen Thor Ragnarok and really enjoyed it.
Yes.
By the time this gets uploaded, everyone will have seen it. But so we can talk spoilers for that if it gets around to it. Something that I feel this film does really badly straight from the off is use the constant use of Dutch angles. You see it there?
Yep.
Right, you're gonna get really sick of that later on. I get sick of it whenever I watch this. I feel like this was the biggest hurdle they had to kind of cross when it came to doing the Marvel films, because Iron Man is a hard one to do, but you can make him work in a realistic environment.
Yep.
Hulk, same way. But Thor is really hard to make work, especially considering he's a god, basically.
It's quite a strong barrier.
You have to make people believe a lot, which is kind of why I feel that they chose to make this a fish out of water story. Do you know the whole him coming to Earth? That's why they did it, because you have to make his powers make sense first. It maybe was for the best, and I think Kenneth Branagh was a good choice to direct, considering his work with the Royal Shakespeare Company and that, which is basically what Thor is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Norse mythology, Shakespeare stuff. We'll get more into his directing later on, but I feel like the Dutch angles thing is one mark against him. I'm not surprised that he didn't come back though, because the touch of it became less kind of self-serious as it went on.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this film has comedy in it, but it's not quite as I don't know, like Thor the Dark World has some more moments of humour, and Thor Ragnarok is basically a goofy road trip.
Pretty much.
So, like, this film, I think this is the most serious out of all the Marvel films, actually.
Easily, which was, I don't know, not why it puts me off. I can do that easily, but
Is it just the, I feel like this film kind of doesn't have much stakes, really, to be honest, for me.
it doesn't achieve a lot. I mean, I fell asleep twice trying to watch this.
I remember when we
Which is really bad.
did this movie marathon for the first time, and this is the moment where we struggled to get into this one, but I think it's going to be alright this time. Like we said before, man, so we've gotten in better since then. Now this is Thor's kind of an interesting film, because with Iron Man, there's only really 2 kind of origins for Tony Stark. There's the modern one, which is what the film uses, and there's the original one, which they obviously didn't use. And the Incredible Hulk is kind of the same, but they changed the origin for the Marvel film. Captain America, the origin is exactly the same as the one for the comic book. With Thor, he's kind of different, because he doesn't really have an origin as a comic book character, because, as you know, he's Norse mythology. It basically, when the 4 comics start, all that stuff has happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like this is him becoming Thor. It's not about that. It's about him learning humility to be a hero. So he's already been Thor. He's already had a lot of adventures. It's not about that. It's about him learning skills that will be handy when it gets to the Avengers. And out of all the Marvel films, this is the one that links most directly to the Avengers, actually. It's going to use the same bad guy. It's going to use a MacGuffin from this film. It's going to involve aliens coming down from above, which is, all of that stuff is set up here. And we actually have one of the best things about this film is the costuming. I mean, look at that. Makeup, costuming coming together perfectly here. That was the biggest task, I think. You can get some dialogue can be a bit wonky in this film, but if you get the costuming and makeup wrong for these people, people aren't going to believe it.
It throws the whole thing off then, yeah.
And Anthony Hopkins, George, we've got Anthony fucking Hopkins in this film. One of the greatest actors of all time, Hannibal goddamn Lecter himself. It's so impressive that he's in this film, and he really lends a lot of weight to it. So, like, a lot of legitimacy. It just, for me, it kind of and his narration it's kind of the same thing. It helps sell it to me that if Anthony Hopkins can believe in it, we can as well.
Very true.
And all of the stuff that's being set up here for later in this film, like him losing an eye, it's all foreshadowing for later stuff in the Thor franchise.
Oh yeah.
It's really interesting, and all of the stuff that's referenced here, like that, the Bifrost, him losing an eye, it all pays off. Even if we never thought it would have, but when...
No, it doesn't. It's all kind of seems like it's been planned out, everything's there.
So I'm warning people now, if you have not seen Thor Ragnarok, we will be spoiling it, because...
It's kind of difficult not to.
Exactly.
No. If we hadn't seen it, you'd been fine, so it'd be a completely different commentary, but...
And can we just say, George, 2011, this was pretty breathtaking. Seeing Asgard, the Viking homeworld. The music is so good here as well.
Definitely really good score.
I think it's something I'll criticise this film for is the fact that Asgard kind of looks really a lot. It's too much gold, which is something I'll praise for the Dark World for. Is they showed you other areas of Asgard.
Yeah, I suppose it does.
So, what is your experience with the character Thor? Was it mainly from these films, or did you know of him in other cartoons or other comic books before this? Were you aware he was a Marvel character?
Yes, I knew that, but I hadn't particularly read anything from what I remember.
There's the fire in the background there that was going to see in Thor Ragnarok. Sorry, Carol.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, true. It's going to be strange all these things we're going to notice now.
Exactly.
Yeah, it probably was just...
There's Mjolnir in the background now. I've never noticed that. There's Mjolnir in the background. You see him? I see him. It's a hammer. Sorry, carry on. I honestly don't mean to keep interrupting.
It's fine. Yeah, everything...
I'm actually getting a little excited seeing these little Easter eggs. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, wow!
Just burst one of those out, yeah. No, I think everything has... I see what you mean now.
Oh, I was going to cut to it anyway.
Yeah, everything is just kind of from these films when it started, and I haven't read a lot really still, but it's on the list.
You went to Comic-Con recently. You've got a J. Michael Straczynski. Sorry, I'm pronouncing that wrong. You got a J. Michael Straczynski comic book run of Thor. One of the best Thor runs, I might add. Really enjoyed it. And there he is, our God of Thunder. And this is by a lot of fan ire. This is the only time you're going to see him in that helmet. He always wears the helmet in comic books. But I will be honest, I get why he doesn't.
It would definitely make it a lot not harder to believe. At times, it kind of
it restricts his face too much.
Yeah, I love how vibrant that cape was against everything else. Then
it is the color correction is a really good thing in the Asgard scenes, not so much the later scenes. I do think the helmet looks really good with the rest of the armour, but I'm glad they don't use it.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth is a good actor, and we need to see, especially in these Thor films, you need to see his face to get the performance. Look at that cheeky grin. I think, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, this is his weakest performance as Thor. But he gets better. He gets so much better later on.
Oh, definitely.
There's the Warriors 3. They're going to become less important as we go on. Anthony Hopkins just looks awesome in that costume. For a guy who's nearly in his 70s, he can pull that off. Tom Hiddleston, probably the MVP of this film. We'll get into more of this later. We've got a lot of time to explore Loki, but would you say he's the best villain that Marvel have produced? Because I would say in the movies, yeah, probably.
It's pretty solid up there, yeah. It just has always seemed to work.
I prefer Vincent D'Onofrio in Daredevil, but that's the TV stuff. The fact that they managed to get Loki's helmet in and make it look good is kind of a miracle to me. Mm-hmm. It's a really hard... So for the Thor stuff is really hard to do, so I appreciate the great strides here to getting it perfect.
They did do very well with it. It could have gone horribly wrong if anyone else had done it, probably.
There's a load of Easter eggs here. Not as subtle as I would have liked, but whatever.
Yeah, shove it right in your face.
I don't know if you noticed there, but the Eye of Agamotto is there. There you go, that there. Which is
I hadn't noticed because I hadn't turned up yet.
Sorry, I was jumping the gun a bit there. That's what shows up later in Doctor Strange. It's a little bit weird that it's here.
Oh.
I feel like it's kind of like people have argued that Thor's character arc isn't really satisfying, but his arc is set up in the very first scene he's in. You know, as a child, him saying, "I'm gonna kill the frost giants. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that." He's showing his arrogance there, and Odin basically pushed him into accepting that was how he had to act. So no, I understand it. And of course, we're getting a foreshadow of the destroyer here. It's a great looking, it's a good design for that.
Nice.
Oh, I probably should get into that. As for my experience with the God of Thunder, I'm more familiar with the Norse stuff, to be honest. Him as an Avenger, I've got the second issue of the Avengers, and he didn't interest me that much, to be perfectly honest.
I see.
I feel like the editing and framing here is amazing. If you look on... So if we go back to that shot a second ago, we're not going to... There you go, that. Right, Loki's over here, Thor's over here, Odin's in the middle.
Yeah.
That's brilliant framing. You've shown the relationship between these characters just with framing there. It's filmmaking like that lets me respect Marvel sometimes. Even if, I will admit, they'd let people... Even if I feel like they would... If I would like Edgar Wright's Ant movie would have been totally different from the one we got. I wish they would sometimes let filmmakers just make the films they want to make, but I respect the fact that ultimately at the end of the day, the things people watch these films are not the filmmaking; it is the characters and plot.
Yeah, there's the thing. They've got this massive continuity thing. Everything has to be sort of similar, and
so I might turn it down very slightly actually. Looks weird seeing him without the cape there. Something a quick criticism of Thor as a character. Chris Hemsworth isn't that good. He's a great actor, but he can't sell this stuff because it's like, I like Thor when he's a lot more fun. Like, Chris Hemsworth can sell that without even trying.
Easily, yeah.
He's got so much natural charm that when he has to act like a petulant little idiot, it's just like, I don't buy it.
True, maybe that's what it is, with these. Well, I never got that kind of invested, really. It just doesn't always seem right.
And that was masterful from Loki there. He literally just got him to do what he wanted him to do, without trying. The Warriors 3, him, I'm not very familiar with his name. He gets replaced in the next one with a different actor. The actor who replaces him is the one who they wanted for the part originally.
Okay.
Fandral. That's what I mean. He's good at the comedy, but the serious stuff is kind of a little bit more. He's harder. Chris Evans and Downey can do it a lot better. I think he was a perfect cast as Thor, though. He's got that kind of naturally. He's naturally quite big, and obviously we know how Buffy is because we're going to see it in a minute. I find it weird that they use horses, especially when Thor can fly.
Gotta love the pony.
Something I really like about this film is how it merges magic and science. Like we're going to see it a bit later, but at the end of the day, Asgard is just an alien planet. They're not immortal. They can die. Idris Elba. Dutch angle. Take a shot every time there's a Dutch angle. Oh, you'll die. Something weird about Chris Hemsworth's face. I know. Like if you, I don't know, something weird about his face in this one. Okay. He looks very squinty, if you know what I mean. He looks like more relaxed in the other Avengers films. In this one, he looks ready to fuck some people up.
Also, I've already noticed before, but okay.
Someone will know what I'm talking about.
That's good. Someone has to.
This is what I'm talking about. The way that Asgard is an alien tech, but it's clearly using things like lightning, electricity. It's basically just another form of science.
Mm.
And that probably was the best way to explore stuff like this and explain it, is just to say it's just another form of science. There's no other way you could do it, really. That was some awkward expedition there. I like the effect of the Bifrost, that rainbow, all of that.
Yeah, it looks really good.
It's for me. I think it's a really nice trippy effect. It's kind of a nice foreshadow to the stuff we'll be seeing later in Doctor Strange and the other Thor films. They get it right in Thor Ragnarok, where it's just a trippy space bridge. And like, that's the thing, it treats itself seriously, but you have to remember, the original Thor was a campy, weird mess. There's an issue where Loki turns Thor into a bloody frog, for God's sake. Which they reference in Ragnarok.
Oh, yeah.
So they are campy, weird, trippy stuff. And I feel like when Marvel kind of embrace it, it can lead to really some really fun stuff. I will say the in Jotunheim and the frost elves, what are they fucking called?
Oh my God.
Oh, frost giants, not frost elves. What the fuck am I talking about? The frost giants are incredibly boring villains. And the Warriors 3 are goddamn boring as well.
Everything's boring.
Thoring. We've got to think of a title for this part. Did you see what I called the Iron Man 2 one?
No.
A demon in a sequel. That's clever. It's fucking clever, mate.
I see what you did. You tried. That's what you did.
I bloody did. And you got a bloody tried. I do kind of like Lady Sif, though. It's a shame they're not going to do that much more of her now that she's not in Ragnarok. She was in Ragnarok originally, but they cut her scenes out.
Right.
Right, stop bloody yawning.
The commentary yawn is back.
Right, give us some things that you like about this film. I'm genuinely interested because I know you. I know you're not this film's biggest fan, but there must be some things you like about it. Dutch angle. The Dutch angles you love. Oh, also, the lighting in this film's really good. The lighting in Asgard is great. And, like... this whole like the contrast between rubbing my leg. The contrast between this and like Asgard is like really good. They're doing this really naturally, just using things for visuals and sound. This place feels cold when you look at it.
It does work. I don't know. I suppose it's more just a technical element. You can appreciate this film really.
The makeup's really good on him. I already mentioned that, I know, but before it was kind of CG-ish. Now it's all practical. See, I never can tell whether that's CG or practical when they do stuff like that.
That's good, but it's still so annoying now. You can't work out anymore with a lot of stuff.
I like that. That's a cool moment. They do a callback to that in the second film. Who's next? That kind of thing. It's not a funny joke. It's not the best joke, but it's nice to have a little callback to it. I'll say that. Do you agree with my thing about the Warriors 3 being incredibly boring?
Yeah, I think I'm considered about most of this, but yeah, there's nothing particularly interesting with them.
I think, to be honest, they were more focused on making Thor work within the Marvel Universe rather than doing anything interesting with the characters.
Yeah, it's like we've got to make a movie before you can, come a part of this.
You got to remember as well, it was this point they knew they were making a cinematic universe.
Yeah.
I remember that shot being in the trailer. That one as well. That's the thing that gets referenced in Avengers, because remember he says, "Are you ever going to stop falling for that?" And when does Thor Ragnarok come out on?
It's around Christmas time, I think.
It's appropriate, isn't it? Really?
It's quite quick, really, considering it's only out October.
November, technically.
Yeah.
I was saying this to my stepdad yesterday. This is a weird plot thread that will get forgotten later. Forgotten, sorry, not forgetting. The whole Frost Giant thing. They remember it in this film, but in the sequel in Ragnarok, it's basically not important anymore.
Anyway, you were saying?
I wonder if it's going to get to the point where about a week after it's finished being in the cinemas, it'll just come out digitally.
It wouldn't surprise me, really.
My least favourite Warriors 3 member.
I suppose it still does take the time it takes for things to get released after cinema releases. I know they do everything they can to get the most screenings.
Yeah, with the invention of the internet, you think it would be pretty much instant. Maybe that's being a bit petty of me, this whole want it on demand culture. I mean, let's be honest. The thing with... I don't know, it's just a thing we've been taught in film school is that we've been watching a lot of art films recently. See him spinning his hammer, that's the only time you're going to see it in this film. That's a thing from the comic book that I really liked. He can't actually fly in the comic books, but Stan Lee, when I'm really bored of making characters fly, this is something interesting. So he made it so he has to throw the hammer, and the hammer basically, with his strength throwing it, that's the thing he's holding on to, and it's just dragging him along with it.
Nice.
Which is quite inventive, I will admit.
That's a good idea.
Sorry, I was thinking of my film school. Yeah, we've been watching a lot of art films, and my teacher was saying, with those kind of films, you're taught not to have instant gratification. With kind of popcorn films like superhero films and whatever, you're giving your experience. That's it. Boom, you've watched it. Fuck off out the cinema. Stuff like that. You've had your experience. You've paid for it and go away. And the point he was making was that art films give you an experience that you're meant to reflect on. And I'm like, that's fair enough. But at the end of the day, movies aren't. Basically, his point was that movies aren't meant to be disposable. But I've got the opinion that I want it all now, so I can watch it all and enjoy it all now.
Yeah.
So I can save time. How did he see it from that far away? Might I add? Also, sorry. I don't know. It's brutal. I do wonder when he throws the hammer, how does he steer?
Just kind of pulls his upper arm.
Exactly what. You done goofed. Got fucking Anthony Hopkins, look how awesome he looks. I think I read somewhere. That he took this role because his grandkids wanted him to.
Nice. That'd be pretty cool.
I wonder if the voice effect on Laufey is all natural, if he's been pitched down a few.
I think there must be something. Maybe not a lot, but...
I know Chris Eccleston has it pitched in the sequel. Yeah, did you forget Chris Eccleston's the main bad guy in the sequel? He's Malachi.
That's the least I know about it. So.
Yeah, it's Chris fucking Eccleston. But he's in more makeup than that. I will say, the first four films feel very Game of Thronesy.
I suppose it's a similar sort of look, isn't it? Really, thing, costume and stuff.
Have you seen any Game of Thrones?
Not really. Never really tried.
This lighting's really good in here. In this scene. They really sell this scene. I really think that the acting in this scene is really good. It makes me sad to see I didn't get yelled at, though. I don't know if it's just because I'm a big fan of Anthony Hopkins, though. I genuinely think he forgot his line, though. No!
No, it just says random mumble.
Annoyed grunt. You know, in the Simpsons scripts, whenever Homer has to say doll, it says annoyed grunt in the script, it doesn't say doll. How great is that?
Oh, weird.
That's the thing. I'll explain Thor's original... I'm not talking about... In the original Thor comics, Thor is a character independent of... Basically, Thor is a title. Also his name. So in the original comic books, Dr. Daniel Blake picked up the hammer, and whenever he picks the hammer up, he became Thor. Right. Thor's the title. Thor Odin's son is his name, but it's also a title. So kind of like that James Bond theory. And whenever Donald Blake, not Daniel. Daniel Blake is a movie. Donald Blake picked up the hammer. He became Thor, And eventually they kind of got rid of that and made Thor his own character because people got bored of the gimmick. They kind of reference it a little bit in this, but I'm glad they decided to just make Thor his own character, to be honest. Just makes it less complicated.
Something that seems to work.
And we'll talk about Jane Foster and Natalie Portman in a minute, because there's a lot to talk about here. I love Chris Hemsworth in the scene. That's Kat Dennings playing Darcy there. She is awesome. I love Kat Dennings. I've got a little bit of a crush on her, to be honest. Stellan Skarsgård plays Eric Selvig. Stellan Skarsgård's kind of had a weird career because he's been in so many art films.
Yeah.
So many things like Good Will Hunting. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Drink up.
I didn't get what you meant for a second then.
It's right, another random film I just happened to know.
Yeah. Take a drink. Another film that I've mentioned George has never seen. Take a shot. Take a shot. See what I mean? It just happens all the time. Chris Hemsworth's work attitude. Jesus Christ. Look how tall he is compared to those dudes. I do like this. Like this is the Iron Man 2 post credit scene pretty much.
Yeah.
The whole inscription, whoever he be worthy, should have the power of Thor. I can actually name a list of people who've actually managed to pick up the hammer in the past. It's quite a very long list, actually.
Go for it.
Black Widow has picked up the hammer, which is there's a reference to that in Age of Ultron when she refuses to because she doesn't. That's J. Michael Straczynski, by the way. That's him.
Nice.
Wonder Woman has picked up. Wonder Woman has picked the hammer up in a crossover. She became the God of Thunder.
Okay.
That's pretty. It was pretty awesome, actually. Captain America has picked the hammer up.
Right.
I was waiting for him to turn up without a shirt on, to be honest. Oh, actually, I'll carry on with that list. Donald Blake's lifted the hammer. Thor himself can lift up. Jane Foster became the new Thor in the comic books. Actually, let's go over that. That's quite an interesting thing. A lot of people got in a shit fit about it for some fucking reason. But basically, Thor became unworthy because Nick Fury whispered something to him, so he dropped the hammer and lost the ability to pick it up. So Jane Foster, who was suffering from cancer, picked it up and became Thor got rid of her cancer, and she's now the goddess of thunder.
Alright.
It's a really good comic book with her as Thor. I really enjoy it, but people are like, "Oh, Thor can't be a woman," just like that. Basically, it's just who gives a shit?
Sort of rubbish, really.
Like the whole thing. Oh, Spider-Man can't be black. Whereas Miles Morales has more interesting stories than Peter Parker has in about 20 years. Sorry, I was going a bit from the heart there. Sorry. Oh no, I can keep going. Captain America can't be a black man, even though Steve Rogers in the comic book gave the role to Sam Wilson on purpose. Sorry, there you go. Yeah, I like that, but yeah, second time there. This is what I love. The music and just like the goofiness of it all. They just made a party out of it.
Pretty much.
What were they doing before this? Yeah, boy. See how wrinkled his hand was then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is where the post-credit scene from Iron Man 2 comes in. When I first watched the post-credit scene from Iron Man 2, I thought it was a construction crew working around it. But when you look at it again, you realise it's just other people having a party. So, when you look at it like that,
I suppose so.
yeah. That's really good direction there. Yeah, boy. The dude's in great shape. Sarah.
Yes, indeed.
Sarah at the bit where he's got his shirt off. Go on, you can say something.
How nice.
There you go. That's her one.
You can
comment.
grind meat on that. I don't remember what his workout routine was. I don't know how long he trained for that. I know that he's been kept in pretty good shape for most of his life anyway.
Yeah.
There you go. Here's your reference. Haha.
Ah.
Right, let's talk about Jane Foster and Thor, because this is a point where I think it's universally agreed upon. And so much so they actually changed it later on. Jane Foster and Thor in these films are boring. They have absolutely no chemistry. Chris Hemsworth and I need to call her Jane Foster then. Chris Hemsworth and Natalie Portman try and sell it so hard. And it's not their fault. They're trying. It's just that they've got nothing interesting. They have no relationship.
Yeah. So I think that's just my main problem here, is there was a lot of relationships which don't work in this. Very dry. We're talking Ryvitas.
I think it's a universal. I think we can kind of agree that people don't really like that relationship, which is why they've written it out for Ragnarok and why Natalie Portman says, "I'm not going to return."
Yeah.
Which was just fair enough. I mean, she's had a fill of it. She's fine. She said she wanted to concentrate on smaller, artier films, which she's done things like Black Swan, and she was great in that. She's done a lot of interesting work over the past 5 years, I want to say. I don't think Loki has quite an interesting backstory. I like the fact I'm not too sure of it in the comic book. The only time I've ever read Loki in a comic, seen Loki in a comic book is there's an issue of Amazing Spider-Man where Spider-Man gets attacked by a magical threat and he goes to Doctor Strange and Loki turns up and he teams up with Loki and there's a really funny scene when they both sit on a rooftop eating hot dogs together and it's just really, really sweet. It's a young Peter Parker and Loki.
Nice.
So I do feel really bad for Loki, because this is like the whole idea of him he doesn't belong with Thor or anything like that, because he's technically a frost giant. I do appreciate the fact they ignore it later on. It's not a running thing, but it kind of lays a nice, interesting seed for him not feeling welcome and not feeling worthy, and that leads to this whole thing of he wants to be king because there's definitely a wedge between him and Thor now, because he's not Asgardian fully, technically. He's not even Asgardian at all. Of all the things Thor gets right, this is the best thing. Giving Loki solid motivation.
Mm.
And another thing, Tom Hiddleston has to act his arse off against Anthony Hopkins, and he bloody does it in this scene. This scene is really, really well acted. Also, Dutch angle, take a shot.
We should have a little counter.
I counter it with mid shot. And it's enough. It's narrative convenience. I absolutely understand that, but it makes sense that this would be enough to put him into his Odin sleep. And Odin sleep is a rest he has to go into, I think, every couple of years to regain his strength. I don't know if Thor's going to have to end up doing that. I don't know if he only does it because he's older.
You'd imagine something like that would happen now.
And there's something really well acted from Tom Hiddleston there. Another one. I don't know if he actually meant that when he was like, guards, I need help, because he kind of sounds like he doesn't mean it, but he's doing it to save appearances. That's kind of an interesting bit of blurring the lines there. That was the best joke in this trailer. I'm glad they ruined it. And that's another thing as well. Something really subtle acting for Chris Hemsworth. He's not an idiot. He's a bit of a meathead, but he's not a moron. He notices that his boisterous, charming personality from Thor, which everybody loved, that's not going to work here. See? It's about there he notices that. He has to be quieter. He has to be less assuming. He has to use some charm.
Yeah.
That's what I really enjoy about it. I've never eaten Pop-Tarts, by the way.
Really? They're pretty good.
See, like, he's listening. See, look, I like the fact if you watch Chris Hemsworth in the scene, he is listening to what they're saying. I mean, a bit less subtly before that. It's just, I mean, there's some really... The problem is here with it is that the direction's not that great. They keep cutting really quickly on it.
Yeah.
I feel like
nothing holds, really.
If you held on it just a couple more seconds, you could see it. And that's another thing. I really like the fact that this takes place in New Mexico, away from anything big. It's not in a city. It's in basically the desert. It makes for a nice change of pace from the other Iron Man films and the Incredible Hulk.
Everything's big scale and
yeah. It's not the end of the world. It's just a town that's at stake. Again, something like Ant-Man and Spider-Man would kind of perfect those kind of smaller scale stuff. But I find it interesting that Thor, who is objectively the most powerful member of the Avengers introduced so far, has the most destructive power, has the kind of smallest scale conflict, which is really cool. I mean, if you think about it, Captain America's got the biggest because he's taking part in World War II.
Yeah, true.
He can hear them as well, which is kind of... Oh, fuck off, you big old teddy bear. You can see they're trying. They are really trying, but they just can't sell it.
Mm.
It's
just never quite right.
I love you, Kat Dennings. I want to have your babies. As in, I want to have them, not you be pregnant. I want to be pregnant with them. I want to do this for you, Kat Dennings. Too much? Maybe too much.
Never too much.
Or not enough. When I looked there, I swear to God, the agency was like, "Oh fuck!" and something running in the back of the car. Great bit of blocking there. I like Phil Coulson, still the MVP of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And something I really like... Oh, for God's sake, there's another one. Oh, for God's sake!
Double down.
Double down. I do like the fact that Selvig... oh, for God's sake. Selvig, Darcy and Jane all feel like friends. It feels genuine. That is sort of relationship I feel like they got right.
There is one.
Oh, for God's sake. That's the Hulk. Stellan Skarsgård's really good at selling comedy as well. He's just a jack of all trades, really. That's a great shot there. That's a reference to a panel from a Thor comic, and also it's kind of a King Lear kind of thing where he sits in the throne.
Mm.
I do really like the set design as well. I mean, look at that floor. It just looks really good. I know it. Basically, it's a sound stage. I mean, 90% of the stuff on Asgard is a sound stage. But the fact they made it all feel so connected is quite a marvel. No pun intended. That's the first time I've said that in 4 fucking movie commentaries.
I'm surprised, actually. Yeah, that should have happened earlier.
Dutch angle. How annoying is it? Can you imagine that if you're filming that and you have to hold it like this
all the time? Yeah.
That's another one. There's another one.
Such a weird choice.
I can't stop noticing it now. Once you see it once, you just see it all the time. In every scene, there's at least one Dutch angle.
Oh yeah, there's at least 5, I'd say, in most of them.
Technically, that's one because they're standing at a weird angle.
Yeah.
Maybe they're at Dutch angles. Maybe the camera's straight. Maybe they're just standing at really weird angles.
Maybe our eyes are just a bit wonky.
How can our eyes be real if mirrors aren't real? I've got to say, I'm enjoying this one a lot more than Iron Man 2.
Yeah?
Are you not?
No.
Why?
It's just not my film.
I'm liking it.
And I'm tired as balls.
Kept Thor his little shorts there. Of course, that's where the name Thursday comes from. Thursday. Has he just spent the whole time just walking around? Aww. I need a doggo. Is that Bob Ross?
Yeah, it's close.
His cheeky face. Just want to walk up to him, stroke his hair, and give him a good old pat on the back. You thought I was going to say something else, then, didn't you? I will say about the Marvel films, a lot of their framing's pretty boring. I mean, besides that one I mentioned earlier, there hasn't really been that much interesting cinematography. I mean, if we rewatch this scene, I guarantee this is just the same 200 yards of road. They've just refilmed it over and over again. It could be. Yeah. There was a fence there a minute ago. See, look. There's a fence there now. But when it cut to the other one, there wasn't. Dave. Fuck off. If I want to redub this film.
That'll do it. That's what it needs.
See what I mean? There's no bridge. No bridge. Fuck. Penis. That's me when I'm asleep. That's basically what I'm like. You can look up some trivia on IMDb if you're having trouble thinking of anything to say. I'm alright.
Fine, let's do it.
You have to get your phone though.
So difficult.
Do you know the last when we did the Iron Man 2 commentary and I touched that button that's on my headphones, I nearly skipped it all the way to the beginning. I nearly did that when we started this. I'm keeping my hands down low now.
Good plan.
I mean, another reason I find Thor really interesting is technically it's the introduction of a second Marvel character that never gets mentioned by name. We'll see them in a minute.
Okay.
You can just read through it if you want. It's a nice little cameo from Jasper Sitwell here as well. They're actually they did a Marvel one shot called "A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Thor's Hammer." That was a really fun thing where you see Phil Coulson stop in a shop on the way to the crater.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
There's quite a few of those, wasn't
there? Yeah. There's another one they did called "The Consultant" where Sitwell actually appears in that, so that's kind of fun. And again, with the Winter Soldier coming out, I get the idea that he was looking here for Hydra.
Oh yeah.
So this all again, it all ties in.
Nice.
Jesus, someone took his jacket.
Oh no.
His mother gave him that. His jacket was one day from retirement.
In interesting. Stan Lee claims he's always wanted to play Odin.
No, I'm glad they didn't do that. Excelsior!
That would have been something. Oh, here you go. You can find a bit about his regime to get ready for this.
Do you want me to read these out? Are you too tired?
No, I can read.
He's too tired.
So it was a 6-month thing of trips to the gym.
Fucking hell.
Massive diet of eggs, chicken, sandwiches, vegetables, brown rice, steak, and protein drinks.
That's mental. 6 months of training. I can barely get through 6 days.
Christ. Huh. That's interesting.
Go on then. You don't have to preface every single one of these with, that's interesting.
They are. In the scene we were talking about earlier, where Thor's basically yelling.
Oh, Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, that scene. That's his reaction to being yelled at as improvised.
Oh, when he goes, you're an old man and a fool.
Other way around.
Oh, wait, hang
Anthony
on.
Hopkins has to improvise, basically. They asked him to do that. And when the scene was filmed, many of the cast and crew present were sobbing.
Oh, it's quite a powerful scene. And I don't know if you saw that Hawkeye just got introduced. He's not named in this film, but it's clearly Jeremy Renner playing it. There we go.
Nice.
It's clearly Jeremy Renner, but it's interesting that this is his introduction. Oh, sorry, he does get named. Christ. I remember this scene in the trailer. I thought this was really impressive, this. That's really hard to do, something like that. I'm impressed that he did that without any wire work or anything. Especially, you got to remember, since he's that big, he's going to weigh a lot.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Hawkeye, you can shoot him if you want. I think this is a really well filmed scene. They didn't need like a massive no moment. You can just feel the pain and him trying his best to pull that thing out. I do wonder how they stuck the thing in the ground, make it impossible for him to pull it out.
Probably bolted that thing down.
Oh yeah, probably then. Yeah. Again, it feels less like he just got kicked to the balls, more like a petulant child getting angry because he's not allowed his hammer back.
Yeah, basically, it's completely different to what it ends up going for.
It's a nice touch that you can't see the writing on it. It's a seal he put on it. So he knows that now.
Yeah.
the score's really good in this section. I mean, I can't say a lot about the musical tracks in this film because, to be perfectly honest, the Thor films don't get good soundtracks until Ragnarok. But that moment was really scored really well. Was it Tyler Bates did this? Can you just have a quick look for me? I think it was Tyler Bates. Sorry, not Tyler Bates. Alan Silvestri. It's bloody someone, I tell you.
Oh yeah, somebody did it. Sound department. There you go.
Who? No, go on the Wikipedia page.
The same thing.
There you go. Oh, Patrick Doyle did the music. Oh, okay. That was a good moment from him. I'm not familiar with his other work. Can you just go on his Wikipedia page?
Long-time collaborator of Kenneth Branagh.
Oh, fair enough.
Did Goblet of Fire.
There's one thing if I remember about that music film, it was not the fucking music.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
I don't remember that music. That was a good film though.
Oh, here we go.
I remember this being in the trailer as well. And the minute everybody saw Chris Hemsworth as Thor, they were freaking out. Fucking Dutch angles.
Oh god. Recently he did the Emoji Movie.
Oh, Patrick. I like the touch here that Loki wears human clothes when he's on Earth. Chris Hemsworth really sells this. I mean, you can see the range of emotions he just goes through in that moment. It's just like Pat really, he goes from disbelief to like anger really quickly. It's just really good acting here. If only the fucking Dutch angles wouldn't ruin it.
Definitely does take away from it.
Oh. And that's something people criticize. I've heard people criticize that line from him, but I like the fact that he's still quite pig-headed in that he's still just thinking of himself. Like he wants to come home, but it's quite cruel of Loki to do that. In this moment here, he learns his humility as well. He learns that he's got to accept that he fucked up, basically.
Indeed.
I did read a really funny theory that someone explained that Loki's the hero of the Marvel Cinematic Universe all along. In this moment, he spurs Thor on to be a greater hero. He brings the Avengers together. He brings Thor to Sakata. Stuff like that. Little Mjolnir taking a nap. Have you've seen those Team 4 things, haven't you?
I think I know, kind of, yeah.
I love them. A nice little character moment for Loki there, like the idea that he's so arrogant that he thinks now that he's king, it means he's worthy. love that. They just have made it up. That's the photo she took earlier, by the way, which is a nice touch. I like how Thor's like, yeah, whatever. He's so upset and miserable by this point. He's just like, whatever, just fucking go get some pancakes, man.
Just do what you want.
Let's get some of those Pop-Tarts we had earlier. Okay. By the way, I don't know if you remember, but the Foo Fighters album Friday Night was coming out this year. They put this film Walk in this film. You can hear it in the background if you listen really carefully, and it's in the credits of this film. It's the first time I ever heard it.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
I feel like this scene's filmed really well. It's just a nice intimate scene, and no Dutch angles for God's sake.
We'll see.
You have to give me a fiver if there's a Dutch angle in this scene. Just give me a fiver, I need money. I like how Thor doesn't know what he's actually talking about. He's like, I'm not going to hurt her. He doesn't think he means in an emotional way.
Mm.
I love this scene. By the way, if a nice touch, that's the drink he has in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
That's a really nice touch. I fucking love this bit. And they're just... I like the idea that Stellan Skarsgård and Chris Hemsworth are actually competing here. You can hear it there.
Yeah. Huh. I suppose so. Never really thought about that before.
Love that song.
It's a bit of a random use of it, actually.
Yeah, I don't remember many Foo Fighters songs being put in films. I mean, I know they're Walking After You was put in the X-Files movie, and they made a song called The One for a film called it's a film with Jack Black in it. I can't remember what it's called. They made that song for that film, but no, I can't remember many uses of Foo Fighters music in movies.
Fair enough.
This is something I really like about Loki in this, is you think he's tricking Thor and that so he can kill Odin, but actually he's tricking them. So basically his plan is to murder the Odinheim to get the respect of Odin and Thor. That's his plan. But he does it by fucking over basically everyone else.
It's basically his role, yeah.
I know mentioned this earlier, but Idris Elba wants to play a different role in the not in this commentary. We mentioned it. Oh no, we didn't even mention it in the commentary. We mentioned it somewhere else. Outside of YouTube stuff, Idris Elba wants to be a different character in the Marvel films. I don't know who he could actually be. To be perfectly honest,
not particularly.
James Bond. I love this bit. Oh, poor Stellan. I mean, if you want to know some more about Stellan Skarsgård, his son, Bill, played Pennywise in the new It film, and his other son, Alexander, was in the Legend of Tarzan film. So his family kind of are all actors.
Nice. Done alright.
I will admit, when we were discussing doing this, this is the scene I was dreading. This scene is cringeworthy in a minute when they're sitting, by the fire. I absolutely fucking hate this scene. Oh, this is cringeworthy.
It's not good.
I mean, this scene's important in the grand scheme of the Marvel stuff, because this is how the cosmic and space stuff gets explained, basically. But I don't find it's just not that interesting. It's what I was saying earlier about all the chemistry that they don't have. This is like it on display, and it really hurts to watch it. It really pains me. Look, it's only 10:20.
Yeah, it is indeed.
Bloody hell. I'm going to see how long this is left, actually. So I've only got about 30 minutes of it left.
We're cracking on with it, but getting good.
I found the Iron Man 2 one really hard, but this one's really easy.
Fair enough. Complete opposite for me.
Why, you're not enjoying it? Well, not when I say not enjoying it, I mean just not enjoying watching it. It's just nothing. You're not getting anything out of it.
It's kind of always been the way of these films. I really couldn't exactly put my finger on it.
So, do you want to get some more trivia up?
There wasn't. I don't know. There's some stuff, but
yeah, if it will help.
It's not particularly fascinating. But that's most of the trivia, really. Usually.
I always find Norse stuff really interesting. This idea that Yggdrasil, the tree of life, and all of that.
Didn't it? It made a video game.
Oh yeah. Chris Hemsworth voiced Thor in that as well.
Yeah.
Go on IMDb, you bug.
May 2011.
I've never played it. I think it's a beat 'em up though.
Yeah, basically.
I know they did a Captain. They stopped doing Marvel video games after the Captain America one. There's an Iron Man one, an Iron Man 2 one, an Incredible Hulk one, and Thor and Captain America. They just stopped bothering after that.
Fair enough. I'll see if I can find anything else, but...
Makes me hungry watching that. If that was Heimdall. I was watching. Yeah. I was joking. Oh, fuck wearing those outfits when you're in the fucking desert filming that shit. Fuck that.
Yeah, you can have a filming fact for you.
Go on.
The final Marvel Studios feature shot entirely on 35mm.
Really?
That's what it says.
I swear Age of Ultron was shot on 35mm. I know Avengers was definitely shot on digital because you can see it.
Well, it says entirely, so maybe some of it was.
That is true. I know Avengers 4 is going to be shot entirely in red and IMAX. See, this is what I like about Chris Hemsworth. He's now relaxed, he's 4, he's being really nice, and it's nice seeing him like that. It's just really bloody nice.
Charlie Cox auditioned for the role of Loki.
Oh, he's Daredevil. He's any bloody Daredevil. Oh, we've got some more Easter eggs coming up, George. Ever. If this was 2017 and you were doing this through London, they would just think you're cosplayers.
Yeah.
There's a D&D convention.
Such a random trivia time. Chris Hemsworth has prior experience of wielding a hammer, having worked as a builder in Australia for a few years. Thanks, IMDb.
Really? I can't imagine him. He's too pretty to be doing all that stuff.
Brian Blessed was rumours for the role of Odin.
He's too campy for it.
Fair enough.
Nothing else interesting?
Nothing particular.
I am curious as to why they stopped using film. I know it's to save money, but
Maybe that's all it is. Digital convenience and all of that.
I don't know. I feel
Maybe with so many digital special effects, it just works out easier. I don't know.
I know that it's harder to put special effects on 35mm. I've heard.
That's probably why. Eventually, how so much of it becomes CGI. I think I read on that one there was about 1,000 something digital shots. It might have been more, 1,600 or something.
Yeah, probably more than 1,000 for this film. I do like that in Ragnarok you see that ice thing again, she just boots it off the pedestal. Hang on a minute, those four, they walked from there to the fucking town. Fuck that! Look how far it is! No? I love that. She's just not. Fuck, it got here quick. I do wonder if it jumps like the Hulk.
Yeah.
Actually, I do know why they use film. It's a lot harder to do this again if you fuck it up.
Yeah.
It just give it kind of a grit and an energy, though. And also the fucking Dutch angles!
Just love them.
What is he doing? He's dead. I mean, he will be. I'm kind of glad they killed those guys off in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Oh, by the way, this reminds me. In there's a comic book that came out about 5 years ago, probably more, called Siege, where Asgard went to war with planet Earth. Norman Osborn started attacking it because he was head of Shield, and Tony Stark developed an Iron Man suit that was made out of that.
All right.
So he became it was called the Four Buster armor. It's like the Hulkbuster one.
Nice.
Probably won't ever see it, to be honest.
I doubt it.
But they're fucking dead.
Get out of my shop.
Are you going to do that racist accent you used to? Don't do it, don't do it. That's pretty girly of him though. Woo! That flip. I love that he doesn't actually have a plan. This was really brutal when I watched it in the cinema. I mean, I didn't expect it to quite turn out like this. Mm-hmm. Dutch angles!
That can't be a good
Do you know what? I've got a good commentary name for this. Going for Dutch.
There you go.
There we go. Boom. They say the creative process is hard. You think that's hard, mate? You haven't bloody done a YouTube title and a thumbnail. Actually, did I tell you this? I've got all the thumbnails in a folder on my laptop ready for all the commentaries. So I've got them all, like, there.
Over prepared.
God, shut up! Oh, you constantly been talking this entire thing.
Yep.
This is just brutal. It was so needless as well. He didn't even have to do that. No. Hi, I'm Baby Legs. This is what it sounds like when I get punched. Unfortunately, my face. It's the only place I could feel. I think he punched out all my blood. I love the idea that's like, you know, I remember that bit in Dragon Ball Z Bridge when Krillin gets kicked by Raccoon. He's like, what is it? Can't quite feel the pain. There it is. Ow! It's like, just like that. He punched me so hard, I can't feel anything. Now I can. Ow! This bit's pretty awesome though, even though I'll admit that. Even though we're making fun of this film. Oh, well, I thought he was gonna. I was just gonna. Shall possess the power of Thor. Yeah, boy. I do want to own my own replica of Mjolnir one day.
It's pretty cool.
Not a plastic one. I mean, like a metal one.
They do exist. They're not that expensive, actually. But there's so many crap ones out.
That was a bit goofy. Yeah, boy. Oh, did you see Avengers for Infinity War set photos?
Nope.
They're all dressed in their gear from the Avengers. So apparently there's rumours of time travel. Tony Stark's got the same shirt on. I'm going to show you after this when we've done this. I'm pretty excited.
It's pretty cool.
Fuck yes, this bit's really awesome. Something again I'll praise for the Dark World for is that they show a fully powered up Thor. Like he's not like this film where he hasn't had his powers, or like in the Avengers where he's kind of holding back because they're on Earth. In Dark World, he's got his full powers. And again, it's one of the themes of this film is kind of like the thing they ask in Iron Man is about the responsibility and power. I'm not doing the Spider-Man quote, but this idea that they've leveled a small town just over a fight that Thor has started. You know what I mean? It's kind of that quote is about him demolishing a small town is obviously from this, but it's adding to that theme of that these people are creating these conflicts that put people in danger. I mean, nobody humans died from that, but you know what I mean? I love this line, he says. Son of Cole. I love that. It's Cole Phelps' son. Fucking knew we'd get back to that at some point.
Bringing it all back.
I'm going to be sad when that finishes. The memes will stop. And then you go, Harry, the memes never stop.
Keep on coming. Keep on coming.
Keep on rolling, rolling, rolling. I guess we'll walk. This is pretty cool when he breaks out the ice. Right, do you want to start doing a sum up? Because you could not look any less interested in what's going on. I'm having fun, George.
Good. You can have fun for both of us.
I guess we'll walk, guys. It's cool. Dutch angles. Did that go in the minivan? Fuck yeah. Brutal, he just cut that thing's head off.
Nice.
But he never does until Fall the Dark. I need to fork. Until Fall the Dark World. Gay. All the front ones were like, gay. I swear you just slipped him some tongue.
Some teeth as well, I think.
We know what they say. I've always been a fan of canines. Get a dog next time. Right, let's start doing this wrap up. What do you think of Thor 2011?
Well, that was a thing. No.
Positivity, come on, I've enjoyed this. A lot more than Iron Man 2.
I don't know, I just can't get...
Iron Man 2 was painful to sit through.
No, I just cannot get invested in this film for some reason. I'm not entirely sure of the reason myself.
No, that's fine if you can't get invested in it. I mean, but can you appreciate...
Something doesn't click. I know it's good and it has a perfect place it's needed.
Can you appreciate its good qualities, though?
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad film in any way. But, I don't know. It just never appealed to me.
Go on, name some good things, come on.
Well, obviously, like I said, it looks good.
I'm going to get the stick if you don't do it. If you start doing it.
For, it's good.
No. Specific. Be specific. Specificity, is that a word?
That's a nice stick.
That's a dash boulder.
I don't know, I do like the whole grandness of everything. And Asgard. The sets and stuff and the costume.
The costume is really good, yeah.
They do good work. Done.
Cool. I'll save mine in a bit.
I added much.
Again, the framing's really good here, with Odin in the middle of them too.
Mm.
But now technically the positions are reversed, because if you remember, the framing, Loki was on Odin's right, and now the framing's reversed, so that's good, again, good framing. That was a weird edit though. Reminds me a lot of the Death Star for some reason.
A little bit. I think it's the big beam.
And the ball.
Can't forget about the balls.
Going for Dutch. For the Dutch world. See, look, this is what I like about it. It's like, I said about them reversing the roles in a way where Loki was a bit more pathetic. Thor's like, you can't kill them, but Loki now wants to kill all of them like Thor did.
Mm.
Bit of a switcheroo.
Yes.
Blair. It's madness. I'm not bad. I'm just angry. This is what me and Ethan were like as children. I was 4, obviously. No, I think the choreography in this fight's a little bit lame, to be perfectly honest. And I get why, it's because they're two gods trying to beat each other up physically, but it's just not very interesting to watch. I mean, look here, they're just swinging things at each other. I mean, if you look at... I mean, especially if you compare it to like Winter Soldier, the choreography in that is amazing, and some of the Iron Man choreography in 3. I mean, that looks really weird, and
they've tried to make it look better with just camera actions. And...
They did it better in Thor Ragnarok, definitely. Which you can say that about a lot of things, to be honest. That's pretty awesome. This is one of my favourite gags in the entire film that's coming up. I don't know if you remember it. I misjudged that just a tad. Yeah, here we go. It's coming up now. Simple, clean, and you'd do it if you could. I like that when he references that in Thor Ragnarok, when he puts it in the monster's mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, we're reaching the end, so I'm going to give my conclusion. I really enjoy Thor. It is a very, very by-the-numbers movie. If it wasn't a Marvel film, I would not care as much as I do. I enjoy this film a lot. Some of the filmmaking is very, very basic because it ultimately is about the plot and the characters. And if you don't enjoy plot and characters that are by the numbers, then you're not going to get anything out of this. As you've heard, George doesn't really enjoy this. Well, he enjoys it, but out of all the Marvel franchises, this is the one he cares about the least. Until Ragnarok, at least.
Well, yeah, anything from kind of Avengers, really, started getting more interesting.
But I agree with George that this is very basic and by the numbers, not very interesting. But maybe it's because I'm a bigger Marvel fan. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, obviously, bitch. I probably see something more in it than you do. I mean, I've loved Marvel, the Avengers, Thor, all of that. I've loved all of that since I was a little kid. So seeing all of it come together here meant a lot to me. So maybe that's what I get out of it.
Yeah, it's that sort of thing, really.
I mean, I'll admit, which is so ironic because George is more easygoing when it comes to films. I'm more willing to criticise, but with Marvel films, I'm really soft on them. Like even the bad ones, there are no objectively bad Thor movies. They're just kind of okay. But
yeah,
even the ones that have bad decisions in them, like this one in For the Dark World, I'll be soft on and excuse it. God, he said about 12 there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just got this image of when you just got a Photoshop Robert Downey Jr.'s face on that and Marvel go, no, when he leaves the franchise. And I want to admit, this film does leave it in a really interesting place. Like, Thor's trapped on Asgard, not trapped, but he can't, they wait, the Rainbow Bridge is broken, and there's a really nice touch in For the Dark World, you can see they've basically taped over it. They leave it in an interesting place, like, how is he going to get to Earth now to help the Avengers? It does answer, it does leave some pretty big questions. Ultimately, dudes kind of just get ignored, to be honest. But it did something interesting with it. I mean, it's not like For the Dark World where he just goes back to Earth and it's all happy.
Yeah.
The DreamWorks logo. Nice reference to the beginning of the film with that. Nice bit of symmetry where it starts and ends in the same way. It's always golden hour at Asgard, I swear to God.
Always.
It's a bit like Disney World.
Just a bit.
If they don't have a thing at Disney World, the Marvel one soon, where it's Asgard, I will lose my shit. Not a full Asgard. I mean, that's meant to be the last supper, obviously. I don't mean like a full Asgard, but like a little mini Asgard you can walk about in. I'll be very upset. Just trying to figure out what Sarah's watching over there. Is that Hitman? Yeah, it is.
Fair enough.
For sad now. I'm sad. Hopefully, in the future we'll see Lady Sif get to do a bit more. Unfortunately, Thor's mother actually dies in the next movie. Spoilers. George didn't care.
So upset.
He hasn't worked out in 6 days. He hasn't worked out in 20 minutes. Oh my god, he's in terrible shape. Why did he miss her? They barely had any chemistry. Fuck off, Marvel.
Yeah, there wasn't enough for us to be meaning.
No. Mullets unite. it's like having an illusion like past and future. I will admit, Anthony Hopkins and Chris Hemsworth do look very similar to each other, creepily.
It's good.
Can I have a bunk bed? Can I get rid of the bunk bed now that Loki's godfather? I don't want to share my toys anymore, father.
I want a car bed.
I want to be like Tony Stark, driving away to my Lamborghinis. So it was such a bad impression. Can I have a bed for little Mjolnir when he stays over? You must have seen the scene Thor, but where it's Mjolnir in the little drawer with a sheet over it. So Mjolnir taking a nap. And the bit when it says, there's Mjolnir wearing some sunglasses, there's Rainbridge, lift this up. Who's he holding? Me. Just got the full figure. Who's that purple weirdo? It's Vision. Surprised you all knew who that is. Who is the man in the purple chair? He's purple. He's got a glove. Does not like standing up. Brilliant. Sure, I didn't want to be on Team Iron Man. I said Captain America. Team 4, me and Daryl. Knowledge is power. You got on your little fingers. Do. Knowledge is power. What? That's a muscle. The brain is a muscle. Remember, that's a muscle. That's a muscle. I'm made of brains. We're not going to watch the post-credit scene. We've not done it for any of them.
Not for anything else, have we? Yeah.
No, but I will say the post-credit scene of this one's really enjoyable. Where Loki just turns up in Eric Selvig's head, it just kind of like adds to the idea that he's been in Loki's mind for years. And that's it for the Thor commentary. I really enjoyed this one, actually, a lot more than I thought I would.
Good.
I know that George has absolutely loved this one.
I've got to go hang myself now.
We'll see.
It's not that bad.
We'll see you next time for. Oh, shut up. We'll see you next time in the 1940s when we go back to the first Avenger, Captain America.
Finally.